Hi everyone and welcome to your latest planning outlook updated on Tuesday evening the 4th of February. Now hopefully you were paying attention to the last planning outlook because we've got a window of opportunity through the middle of this week as a brief ridge of high pressure builds, but it's back to square one very quickly because Atlantic weather systems are waiting in the wings. They will come sweeping in into the weekend with some very stormy conditions on the way, even well onwards into next week, and temperatures really up and down once again. Let's take you through that story then, using the 850 millibar chart, which as pressure builds over the next day or so just goes a bit too high to be genuinely useful for absolute temperatures, but still gives us a feel for where we're going, and will lift generally above freezing through the next few days as milder air comes around the high from the south and southwest, and some spots toward the north and east of the Highlands could see some locally very mild temperatures and some local phone effects in place. So a thaw will develop once again, will be above freezing at all levels, although some sheltered valleys and glens will see some overnight frost. Now as we head onwards towards the upcoming weekend, we will get a front that will come in from the Atlantic, and that will briefly lower freezing levels again quite markedly through into Saturday, so we'll see some snow in any of the showers that come through. Then the next push of much milder air sweeps in from the Atlantic on southwesterlies into Sunday, before the next cold front sweeps in, and then we go sub-zero again as we head through Sunday onwards into Monday, and then on we may well stay sub-zero for a more sustained period. Bit of fluctuation day to day with temperatures, but overall we're likely to see a run of days where the mountains stay sub-zero. Temperatures on the higher slopes may be -3 to -5 at times, and freezing levels down below 500 or 600 metres. Some fluctuations, England and Wales in particular. Just need to watch exactly how the next incoming lows behave, but a chance for some sustained winter conditions and accumulating snow, although with the very strong winds it'll blow around a lot, so getting a good snowpack might still be a bit of a struggle. This is how the next few days are shaping up. Then high pressure centred to the south on Wednesday. It's a dry day overall. A few bits of drizzle may just come in to the far western coast of Scotland, where there's some banks of low cloud. Some patches of low cloud lingering around some Irish Sea coasts as well, but with an inversion getting in place, a decent chance of some of the high tops being above that, and some fog patches in low-lying spots, say for the eastern side of the Highlands, across central parts of the Pennines, again like to leave the hilltops in the clear. Strongest of any wind is toward the far northwest Highlands, generally light winds for central southern Scotland, England and Wales. Similar sort of story into Thursday. Again, we're sort of chasing around residual low cloud and areas of fog with high pressure on the sea, and it's generally a dry story with winds light and that scope for inversion conditions to be in place. Get above that and the air is pretty clear and there's a good deal of sunshine to be found. Once again, some of the coastal areas in western Scotland may just hold on to that low level cloud all the way through the day. Things beginning to change into Friday. The high slips away toward the east, the wind strengthens from the south, maybe even southeasterly for a time, which will have some impact on exactly where the cloud does develop. Areas across the northwest Highlands do pretty well under southeasterly winds for decent cloud breaks. Meanwhile, locations around Arran and Clyde sea locks may struggle for banks of low cloud just filling in off the sea in this part of the world. Fronts are edging their way in, and gradually later on Friday the wind will strengthen increasingly, and some drizzly rain will move in towards Wales and probably western Scotland for that matter as well, and the front that's out to the west will then bring some heavier rain for many places by Friday night. Absolute timing open to a bit of question, but by Saturday daytime that front has passed eastwards and it's dropped the temperatures once again. There'll be a few clusters of showers that follow through on a westerly wind, which may be up to gale force for a time at least. Possible lull may just develop for a few hours during Saturday, particularly across Scotland, but do watch out for some snow and some hail showers just coming through on a general westerly flow. The next fronts are waiting out over the Atlantic, and those will be approaching later in the day Saturday, and the winds will begin to strengthen. So the key thing for Saturday at this stage is just watch your forecast detail, watch your timing. There's a possible window just in between weather systems, but there may still be strong winds and showers around. It's fair to say that Sunday looks the less promising day, with many isobars on that chart and severe gales across most of the mountains. Storm force winds quite possibly widely across the British Isles. Fronts then sweeping their way eastwards, a spell of rain as the warm sector goes through, a drop of freezing level turning things to snow, and then more sort of showery precipitation with snow and hail coming in on the westerly flow to western Scotland once the cold front has fully gone through. Some torrential falls of rain possible for a time across western hills before that colder air does move in. So not really looking too clever as we head onwards into Sunday. And I think we could put that story on repeat well onwards into next week. This is the situation, and as we begin the week, we've got very deep areas of low pressure towards the north of the British Isles, centred around the Norwegian Sea. Some secondary features may well develop to the south of that, rattling in from the Atlantic. So sustained gales, sustained severe gales across the mountains looks believable. The cold air that's in place will be around for a day or so freezing levels stay low. Showers of snow and hail will come rattling in, particularly to western Scotland, but many places seeing those. Now just watch this next feature over the Atlantic. That's what I'm talking about, one of these secondary features, secondary areas of low pressure. That could get much further south as we head onwards into the middle of the week. This chart not picking it out too much because it's averaging out a lot of detail, but there's one or two computer model runs that bring one of those centres of low pressure right across the heart of Britain. It could bring severe gales, even to low elevations, much further south across England and Wales by that time. It could meanwhile give a relative lull as the centre of the low passes across, say, northern England and Scotland for a time, but finding those lulls may just be a very short-lived window. Gives the scope for some snowfall pretty widely as it engages with colder air on its northern side, briefly milder air on its southern side across more southern parts of England and Wales. All up for grabs with detail then, but it's just still that message of being stormy. And onwards toward the back end of the week, well, it's a westerly flow that dominates, maybe tipping a bit more southwesterly, perhaps a lift of freezing level broadly as we head towards the end of the week. But we're not really getting rid of that Atlantic weather regime anytime soon. So make the most of the next few days if you can. Stay up to date with your forecasts for the weekend, and I'll update the video again for you on Friday. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.